Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Galactic Reviews, where we just watched.
Final Destination's Bloodline.
I had this written down in my room, and I walked out, and I was so confident. I'm like, I'm gonna remember this. I got this week. Hello, everyone,
Yeah.
and welcome to this week's episode of Galactic Reviews. This week, we went and watched Final Destination Bloodlines, the newest addition to the Final Destination series, and I'll just say, I enjoyed this one. I haven't seen any of the other Final Destinations except for the first one, and that was ages ago, so I don't remember much of any of it. And I enjoyed this. The only problem I did have was some of the characters were a bit, I don't want to say poorly written because they were written well. They were just kind of ditzy to an extent. It was just some of the characters I didn't really care for, um, and the choices they made, but that's kind of what I'm understanding from Final Destination movies. Some of the characters are a bit odd, in their decision making, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. Um, the pacing was good. The idea was good. I enjoyed how I was expecting this to be like kind of a continuation from like one of the previous movies, I guess. Another one that escaped death, and this is like their children or whatever, and not something like this. Um, like what we got. I thought that was very fun, a very interesting twist, and the way it explained it. So I thought this was a very well written plot movie, surprisingly enough. So yeah, I would give this probably an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed this. I don't know about the other two, so who wants to go next?
Andrew, me or you?
Go for it.
Okay. Zach, me and you are kind of in the same boat on the
Okay.
I've never watched any Final Destination movies. But I was told by Andrew what was going to happen, so I wasn't going in completely blind in this.
Going to happen as in like what
Like
the
like what
premise of
like
Final
what the premise
Destination
of
is?
Vice
Okay,
Final
got you,
Destinations is
got you.
like people dying, essentially gruesome deaths. What did catch me off guard was originally when we watched when it starts out, um, it's a setup and then it goes into just immediately goes into death within like the first 15-30 minutes ish
Yeah.
after like all the setup. And I was thinking, oh, so it's gonna be kind of like the Buster Scruggs, like the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, where it's just a whole bunch of different stories about characters randomly.
Mhm.
And instead, it was this was all a premonition of somebody that, and it was just that part was a little weird, and it never got really explained at all. Along with how she had the old lady had the premonition to begin with.
It does get explained in the previous five movies.
Okay, that might be the one where you have to go watch the previous
It's
movies.
essentially just it's all essentially explained in the first movie where it's just kind of like some people Death has a design and a plan and a pattern because he's characterized in this movie even though he never actually shows up.
Okay,
And some people just have the ability to kind of like see that design and that plan
okay,
before and they can kind of like piece it together and all that.
okay.
It's not some psychic ability. It's they can see a plan.
Right.
The
Well, I
dream
mean, they made
stuff.
that kind of apparent with the way that with the way that the granddaughter was
Yeah.
able to use what her grandmother found out, but
Mhm.
it never explains how the grandmother found out about all those things and was able to. So,
Yeah. And in movie form, it kind of like manifests as like a vision.
yeah, and I get that's the plot and like that's the thing that starts out the plot. It's just that's never explained.
Yeah.
So that would be one of my gripes with the movie is that just randomly happens. And I get that sets up all the gruesome stuff to come later. For people that like this kind of stuff, I could see them liking it a lot. It's a decent enough plot. Some of this, a lot of the stuff relatively makes sense. The thing where only one spring goes through the vending machine into the guy's head instead of like multiple, which is what I was expecting, but
What? Why were you expecting that? We already knew it was like going to be at least one because it
I
popped
mean,
out already.
I figured it was going to be at least one, but I was thinking like the whole thing was going to come
Yeah,
out.
I see what you mean though.
I wasn't expecting just one because that just seemed odd to me. Because I mean, like I would think it would be affecting the whole machine, like it was affecting everything outside. So,
Who
and they never
knows?
kind of explained like that one was loose.
No, they did.
They did.
It popped out when he hit it.
Oh,
It sprung out, so it
It
was already
you went like
loose.
boom.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that one
Um,
was already loose.
that might have been
Yeah,
when I went to the bathroom. Okay, never mind. And that was actually explained.
that one was explained. Yeah,
Okay. Some of these were just gruesome. Like the one where the guy gets folded in half going in the MRI machine. That one, that one messed me up a little bit. But
never going back in an MRI machine.
I never went in one, so
They're kind of fun.
it's like a Disney World, Zach. Did it look like the when the blood got splattered on people's faces and stuff? Like, did that all look? Because it looked very computer graphics to me. I don't know if that was something else you guys caught, but like specifically, the one I'm specifically thinking of is the one where like it goes all over the granddaughter's face when the grandmother
Yeah,
gets the spike to the head. That looked very computer graphics.
I'm not specifically sure. I didn't pay that close of attention to it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was
You-
just expecting it to be like, very thick syrup. So
Okay, it didn't look like thick syrup. It looked like computer graphic stuff,
they could have touched it up with computer stuff, to
but
like
it
try
just
to change
looked
the color or whatever,
but it looked
or make it
weird and
deeper. I'm not
funky.
sure.
Like I get like they were trying to go for like a darker red because it was like
Yeah.
really it was like recent blood, but like um it
I
was
mean,
just it looked
when it's that much, it is a bit darker,
I'm just saying like it looked
because it's
weird
thicker.
and I don't know how to explain it. It just looked weird.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I'd have to relook at the scene to check it because I'm not sure. I didn't pay that close attention to it.
Yeah, so I got questions about death for later, like the character of death for later on, because I'm like, they died really gruesome ways at the beginning, and then they died even more gruesome ways later. So, and I've also got questions on like, why can't he just like kill all of them all at once and get it over with?
He
Like,
already
just have
tried that in the beginning and it failed.
yeah, but like, couldn't they like all have accidents on the way back home?
They all tripped down the
Because
stairs.
then they
Yeah,
wouldn't have an hour and a half
I
long
get
movie
that they wouldn't have an
franchise.
hour and a half movie, but they treat death like he can only be one place at a time when like people die.
Yeah, he just moves really fast.
But like he couldn't move fast enough to get all those people back.
No, he was on
Yeah,
a
cool.
time schedule. He already failed that mission. He had to move on to the next
So
one.
he was just what doing this in his free time when he could. Like they don't really.
Yes. I like to think that. That's what I'm going with right now.
He's
That
clocking
seems
in.
really funny.
Death is clocking in, clocking out. Like he's in the
He's
middle
like
of a murder,
he's like
and then
he's like he's like,
he's like
damn it.
he's like in the middle of the
I gotta
murder. Then like the lunch bell then the lunch bell pops off. It's like okay, lunch
yep.
break. You know, he's just
I
taking his
guess
lunch break
it's I
as like
guess I gotta
somebody's
do
bleeding out on the
overtime
floor.
again. It's overtime again. I better get paid for it.
That isn't explained at all. But I mean,
No, I like that. I like that
I
idea
like that
though.
idea though. For people that like these kind of movies, I it's a good one. Me, not so much. I'm not. This isn't my type of movie. Um, I did have fun with it because I kind of knew what was happening going in, but yeah, still not my cup of tea. For movies. So I'll give this a 6 out of 10.
All right. Andrew, what
It's still
about you?
good.
Let's
Yeah,
wrap this up.
I'm on about the same page. This is a gimmick series.
Oh yeah.
Um, Nothing else beside that. It's you either like the bit or you don't. Um,
It
the first
reminds me of
movie, like,
the TV show of A Thousand Ways to Die
yeah,
every
yeah,
time I like see any clips from this.
yeah. I haven't seen all the movies. I've only seen the first one, and and I did that to prep for this.
Gotcha.
And I mean, the first movie had, or it felt like it had a like that was the unique one.
Yeah.
That was the one that Had like a really the plot hadn't been done before. It was really cool, and then just seemed they're like, oh, we can keep this going, and it just became the vehicle to have over the top and creative deaths. Yeah, yeah, it's a gimmick. You either like the gimmick or you don't.
Yeah.
Uh, it's fun. The deaths were really creative, really cool. I think these were some of the most brutal like on-screen deaths I've seen in a movie ever. Um, so that's something. The only I think my only takeaway from it is that it's a gimmick movie, so it's not made to be like a rave thing.
Yeah.
Um, and there were absolutely characters in there that I could not stand. Namely, the main character was so annoying the whole time. The
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
time, she's like, "I'm not like my mom. I'm not crazy." Proceeds to be absolutely insane the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
obviously was probably the point, but oh my goodness,
Yeah.
like your family member just died. The plan. And I'm like,
I'm kind of glad this movie didn't have like a happy ending either.
they're not supposed to.
Gives that false hope.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
supposed to. Death wins. You can't escape death.
Yeah.
That.
Um,
I
Yeah.
like the whole circle of the penny though. That was funny.
Yeah.
yes, yes, I've seen some great memes with just pennies.
Yeah.
It's yep. It was fun. That's about it. It was fun. 6 out of 10. Creative.
Yeah.
As someone who hadn't seen a very specific trailer, apparently, I think it was trailer 2. I saw a lot of people being like me after me changing out, or a bunch of people were like, "I'm taking my septum out now," and I was like, "What? What do they mean? What do they mean by that?" And I see it, and I'm like, "Oh, oh,
So wait, there's like that's the one thing that did like make me curious because like they made that a very big thing that he wasn't a family member, but that whole thing happened, which made it kind of look like it was Death doing it.
Yeah,
So
it was Death because he tried to fuck over Death by killing his
no, no,
brother.
no, 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 no. The original one where he got hit with the nose ring, the chain goes around with the
Oh,
fan.
yeah.
I'm not talking about the MRI machine. That
Yeah,
one
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
yeah."
They made that
Yeah,
one
yeah.
kind of clear. I'm talking about the one that was in like the
Yeah,
trailer that Andrew was referring to.
I think that was just meant for like
I meant
That was
a
bait.
joke.
It was just
it
Yeah.
was
bait.
just audience bait. I get that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was I don't know if there's a story reason for why that happened or not, other than they just wanted to bait the audience and make them think, oh, this character's about to die.
Probably just bait the audience, give false sense of hope
Yeah.
or security,
Yeah. I
however
don't
you
know
want to
why
talk
he
about
was
it.
licking a garbage truck either. Like I don't know why you would want to lick a garbage truck.
Because
He's a tattoo
he's a
artist.
weird dude.
A lot of tattoo artists are a bit weird.
Yes, they are.
All cool people,
Yes.
cool people, but some of them are peculiar.
No, yeah. There's a reason they don't have an office job.
That is true.
Not because they're incompetent, but because they're a different breed.
That they are. That they are. They do great art though. Well, not all of
As
them,
someone
but
who has 20 tattoos, I can say this. I'm not tattoo artist phobic, I promise.
if I was, my whole body would be covered.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, not hard to say much about this movie. Or
Yep.
it's hard to say a lot about this movie other than getting into like the gritty details that I don't care enough to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you guys have kind of answered all my questions about like, okay, why does this happen? Why is this? Why is this?
Yep,
Why does
it's
Death
simply a
seem like
gimmick.
he's on a time schedule?
He works a 9 to 5. What
Yeah.
can we say? Did you ever see him do a kill at
What
night?
what
No.
time zone is he in?
Well, he never killed anyone at night.
Okay, so does he hop around from time zone to time
Actually,
zone?
no. The last one he killed at night. I take it back.
Does he commute with the guy who gives
Hmm,
life to people?
Maybe.
That'd be a funny bit.
Maybe they Uber together.
They Uber.
They call a cab. That's funny.
It's the cab driver's a zombie, somebody that's neither dead nor alive. That way they don't get affected by him.
No, I imagine it's someone else. It's because you have the one that brings life, the one that hmm, who would
I think a zombie would be perfect, but I mean, you can think of something
yeah.
better.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'll have
I'm
to get
just
back to you on it.
all I can think of is like a zombie from like Hotel Transylvania, just driving the just driving the taxi.
That's fair. That's fair.
Do they get
Yeah.
lunch breaks?
No. No,
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 that'd be funny if they like he's in the middle of killing somebody and they're like, "Oops, lunch break."
no, no lunch breaks. He has all this overtime he has to do.
That's true. Well, especially with all this in this universe, apparently a whole bunch of people
He to
escape
death.
death. Yeah.
Yep. All because of Penny.
because of
They
Penny.
told him the Penny could kill people. It killed a lot of people.
It did. That was, oh my goodness. I would have pushed that kid off. I would have pushed that kid off.
Yeah, but then he would have gone through the vent.
Well, if he did, if no, if they, she did that, technically she would have still cheated death, so she wouldn't have died because she stole his time.
Oh, that's right.
So
Was
no
was
purpose of a
but
movie.
was
Yeah,
his time like 5 more minutes?
probably. Yeah, about 5 more minutes. So it wouldn't have
Well, it
mattered that
doesn't.
much.
No, it doesn't. No, maybe. I mean,
Well, technically, she would have stole his time, and then technically, wouldn't everybody else
I
have
mean that's
stolen
true.
because of
No,
his
they
death?
would have death would have still been cheated out of them.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, would they
So he
all
would have
get
still
that
hunted
cheated
them down.
time, or just
No,
she
I think it
because
would
she
just be
killed
her.
him?
Yeah,
Because she killed him. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So wait, if
But
she
yeah.
had okay, sounds morbid, but if she had an abortion, would she get more time added to her?
No, because technically that was no, because Andrew brought up a good point. He only had like 5 minutes left anyways. So if she killed the baby was supposed to die anyways.
Okay. What if she
Yeah.
worked at Planned Parenthood? Would she be able to do?
Live forever,
Yeah.
I guess.
Damn,
Or
damn.
Just trying to figure out the rules.
I guess I'm not sure.
Because I mean, they even the two brothers debated about killing a baby. So I'm just
No,
They
no, they
did.
didn't
That was
debate.
hilarious. They did, and that was
they
hilarious.
they did, but they didn't. They were like,
It
no,
was
no,
they did,
we
but they
never do
didn't.
that. But if we were,
No.
no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a good idea. Not a good idea, but a good idea for a joke.
It was a very morbid joke that actually worked out. All right. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Galactic Reviews. Join us next week. We'll be watching The Accountant 2, and we'll see you next time.